Hello, hello, hello. Good evening. I'm praying that everyone evening, nights is going good. I am your author, Lawana Kelly, and today is different because I am on here and going to talk about chapter 1 of Damaged Crown Still Shine. Chapter 1 is called The Beginnings. The Beginnings. I didn't understand why when I was putting this book together that we came with the first chapter called Beginnings. Why? So, one second, guys. I'm trying to make sure this is public. This video here, like always. Okay, public, get a post. Okay, oh, it is public. Okay. Once again, hello everyone. Um, the first chapter is beginning. The beginning. This is how it went. My whole world that I once loved and felt safe in start unraveling. It's called Beginning. I'm going to share with you about the book journey, then I'm going to go right into chapter 1. When I first started writing this book in 2019, you all remember that something happened where someone tried to steal my story. The first title was He Took My Body, but He Did Not Take My Mind. I still had this. He took my body, but He did not take my mind. So I went on the book journey after that, and I had to change the title to Damaged Crown Still Shine. The book, behind the scene, it was stressful, sleepless nights, tears, scared. Well, I was worried about what people was going to say, how people was going to feel about my story, me telling my truth. Why did you tell your truth? Thank you for asking. I told my truth because I needed to be the voice for the voiceless. I remember when I lost my voice. And oh, it was scary. It was sad. It was horrible when I lost my voice. And I thank God that today I am able to speak before you right now and tell you guys my truth and talk about my story. This is me. This is Lawana Kelly. So the book journey ended up going on for like 2-3 years. It was just, you had to keep rereading the book. You had to keep writing. So my book journey, what I started was, I wrote everything down on the paper, right? So when I contacted my assistant to help me write my book, I said, I got everything on paper, so I'm thinking I'm about to mail her this book. She said, oh no, you gotta go into Google Docs and you gotta type that stuff up. So, oh Lord, that journey, oh my God, I had to, everybody don't know, you have to not talk about your story, you have to tell your story. You can't say, when I pulled up, the light was green and then it turned red. No, you got to say, I was driving in my car, and when I made it to the red light, the green light, then it turned red and I proceeded to go. You have to be specific when you're telling your story. So I didn't know that. So my story was like, and this happened and that happened, and I mean, it was a mess. So I just thank God that the Lord put in my life an assistant and people to help me develop the book to where I needed to be. So telling the story, the first chapter of the beginning, it was about the little girl that had her mommy and her daddy in the same home, and I'm too young to think about it, but when I look back over my life, I had mommy and daddy in the house. I was thriving. I was me. I was spoiled, little old me. Yes, spoiled. My daddy, I was a daddy's girl, and I always be a daddy's girl. So everything seemed like it was going good as far as I can remember. And then I went, my mother moved, and we ended up moving into a different house, a different space, a different place. Everything felt unfamiliar, not new, but I was still a happy, cheerful child because my dad still was in my life. My mom was in my life, even though we was in different homes. Everything was good. I even had a stepdad at the time. My mom ended up getting married. So, hey, I was living the best world with two dads and stepdad because they knew each other and they both took care of me. Okay? And I called both of them dad. My dad knew that I was calling another man dad. So, he knew that, right? So, uh, things took a turn. It took a turn. It took a turn. My mom's life took a turn because the man that she was with, became violent and started drugs. Then drugs came into place, neglect came in place, and oh my God, later on down, abandonment took place. Abandonment. I was abandoned. I thank God I don't have abandonment issues, but I was abandoned. My mom, I ended up having to go live with my grandmother and my aunt. Okay, so I was always sad now. I was crying. I was hurt. I was just in pain because I was scared for my mom and I wanted my mom. And, I'll see my mom every now and again. Then months will come by and I won't see my mom. And it just wasn't peaches and cream. My grandmother, I give it to her. I give her flowers. She took me to church, took me and my sister to church. And we was raised in church. But behind the scenes that was going on behind the church, behind going to church, guys, what they say, everything that looked good ain't good. It wasn't good because I knew I was happy. I was in my life, and I'm gonna be honest, drug infested, selling drugs, seeing drugs, going to sell drugs more than going to school. Education wasn't a thing in the household. You had to do whatever needed to be done behind the scene versus going to get an education. So when I did go to school, I, couldn't function. I couldn't focus. I was, back then it was what goes on in this house stays in this house, so you couldn't. Teachers weren't asking what you going through, what's going on, why you always sad, why you always crying. I wasn't the type of person that had friends. I stayed to myself. I was very scary and timid, and people in my family, they knew that. And I felt that I was taken advantage of by some adults. And it just wasn't a happy place. It wasn't happy, when you're supposed to go to grandma's house, and it wasn't even my grandmother 100%. I say 75% it wasn't her, and some percentage it was her. And because doing what someone else was doing to hurt me and protecting that's where I felt failed. I felt abandonment because of my mom wasn't there. And then when I did go around my dad, I couldn't tell my dad what was going on because I didn't want to get my mom in trouble. I didn't want to get my grandma in trouble, my aunts in trouble. I didn't want to get nobody in trouble. So I tried to, when I went to daddy's house for the summertime, I didn't say anything. I didn't, I acted like the happiest kid. But when a kid, and I see kids going through this today. You see kids sad and they hurting and they don't have a safe space. I didn't have a safe, not even going to church wasn't even a safe space because I didn't have nobody to talk to. It's like nobody gravitated to me. So my beginning was, and this is chapter 1, I'm going to stay in chapter 1. Beginning was a dark place. My beginning, it wasn't a happy place. My beginning wasn't a happy place, and it was just sad. It was dark. It was cold. It was it just wasn't, it wasn't a happy place. It just wasn't. I'm trying to fathom how a kid today feel, how I felt. When you don't have nobody to talk to, nobody to check and see is you okay. Um, People grooming you, and you're not even knowing that you're being groomed. Um, People abusing you mentally, physically, emotionally, and you don't have nobody to talk to. Somebody just cussing at you, yelling at you, taking her shoes and hitting you, throwing things at you, making you feel like Cinderella. I was a Cinderella. And this is my truth. I was a Cinderella. I didn't get no sleep. I stayed cleaning. Um, so the beginning again just was not a happy place. It was just seemed like it was sad. It's like people was gravitating more to my brother and my sister versus me, because I guess I was so much of a mommy's and daddy's girl, where I was protected by both of them, but neglected by everybody else. At the time, my mother, and then let me tell you, even when I was in my mother's presence, even when she was going through what she was going through, my mother still protected me when she was around. Now, when she wasn't around, it wasn't no protection there. When I went to my dad's house for the summer, I was protected. I just did not know how to talk and ask for help. I was scared. I was scared. Just imagine you in the presence of a kid and just scared and just don't know how to explain to you and talk to you what they're going through and how they feeling. And it's just, that place, guys, was dark. It was scary. The only outlet that I did have when I was at church. When I was at church, I was a kid. I was a kid that my grandmother taught us to go stand at the altar to pray. So, me not going to pray because everything was peaches and cream. I'm going to pray, Lord. I don't know how to say why me, because I'm too young to know to say why me. But Lord, I don't even understand to say why. I couldn't even say why, guys. I couldn't even fathom. I didn't even know how to say. Let me tell you, I can't remember what I was praying and asking God for at that altar. But I remember at one point in my life, someone said, hello, welcome in. Thank you all for being here. I'm trying to just phantom of, I just knew at the altar and saying whatever, my tears, your tears, reach God when your words don't. Just know that. Your tears reach God when your words don't. Because I stayed at the altar and all I did was cry. I remember as a kid, 8, 9 years old, praying at the altar, just at the altar. I can't even tell y'all what I was saying. So don't ask. I was a kid. I just knew the foundation that was laid before me. So anytime I go through something now in my adult life, I know my foundation is at the altar. At the altar. That's where it all started. My healing started at the altar. Not the beginning, but my healing started at the altar. I stayed at the altar as a kid. I remember the pastor saying at the time, let her stay at the altar until she get it right. Let her keep going, because every time they did an altar call, Lawana was at the altar, okay? She was at the altar, and I wanted people to pray with me and cry with me, and I had one of my sisters, her name is Tanisha, she's the pastor today. She used to always get me and hold me and pray. So I don't know if she knew what to pray for, but I remember her always hugging me and praying with me at the altar. And I mean, as a kid, I look at these kids that's so lost and abandoned and abused today. And I know what they're going through because I was her. I was her. I'm them. When you don't have no escape, when you don't have nobody to help you, nobody to protect you, nobody to love you when you're in that space. Because you could be in a space 1 minute when you're being protected, but that next minute you're not. I didn't feel loved. All I felt is abandoned, abused, just by myself. Whew, that beginning. But the chapter in the beginning is a powerful chapter because I expressed myself the best of my ability in that chapter. The book is Damaged Crown Still Shine. And it was ups and downs when I was writing that story. And I wanted to say all the right things and not hurt nobody in the midst of my story. I went out to hurt not one of my loved ones. I didn't, even though what happened to me was swept under the rug, I protected everybody. That's what I did. I protected everybody. People say, why protect somebody that didn't protect you? My end game in chapter 1 all the way to chapter 23, but my goal is to come and talk to you all every day for the next 23 days about each chapter and my why behind that chapter. That why behind my story. My why am I doing this? Why are you doing this? My why is for the voiceless. My why is for women. My why is for the people that just don't have a chance, don't understand. My why is for that 60, 70-year-old woman, that 80-year-old woman that did not get a chance to tell her story, her side of the story, that's keeping it bottled up. My why is for the young people that's going through this. I want to be that beacon of light for them. My legacy, legacy will be people to look back at these videos and read this book and want to understand it's okay to heal. It's okay to live. It's okay that your trauma don't define who you are. And this is why I do what I do. I have so much on the inside of me, and I want to release it. If I can help everybody in this world heal from the things that I've been through, that I know of, because you can't tell somebody to get through something that you've never been through. If you've never been through domestic violence, you can't tell that person how to get through it. If you've never been through sexual assault, you cannot tell that person how to get through it. If you've never been through abandonment, abuse, neglect, if you've never been through it, you can't tell somebody how to get through it. Hey, let me tell you something. I had 2 children. I can tell you how to prepare yourself in the right way to get ready to give birth to your baby and the things you need. I can, because God, that's what I've been through it. I was there. But my why is so deep. That why, W-H-Y, my why, the letter Y is bigger than me. It's bigger than me. And my goal is to share my story chapter by chapter. I have 23 chapters. 23 chapters in this book right here. And I'm going to talk about my why behind each chapter. I'm not going to go into detail about the chapters because you got to read it. I think, could you see it is, oh my God, beginnings. This is the first chapter. Chapter 1 is beginning. This is the book. And each chapter, my goal is, I love you too, sis. Thank you. My goal, my end goal is to help people, help women, help whoever I can. They said if you want change one person, you have help change one person. You did enough. You did more than enough. I don't know why I ain't got no water. But that beginning chapter was talking about the move. It was like my life was packed up and I was handed off to somebody else to raise me. And so chapter 1 talk about the ups and downs. The ups and downs, like, Lord, I'm scared. What do I do in this moment? If I can relive it, I wonder, what would I have done different? Thank you for asking. What would I have done different is probably told my dad what was going on. I would have told my teachers what was going on. I knew my dad would have got me to a safe place and put me in a better position. I have my dad's sisters that would have, they offered for me to come live with them at one point in my life, but I was scared, so I said no, I want to stay with my mommy. But if I could have changed, went back, if I could have went back at that moment and changed anything, I would have did. I would have did, because I probably wouldn't have a book. If it was a book, it would have been about education, because my aunts, they love education. That's something they don't play with. Education. I think my aunt is 70-something years old, and I think she was still in school. Still in school. They love school. And so I think that's what my life would have been. But I thank God for my trauma. I thank God for my story, because what I've been through, now I can change my pain to purpose and show others how to turn their pain into purpose. You can change your pain to purpose. You can take what you've been through and what you're going through and help others. Helping others is a way to heal. Helping others with what you're going through and what you've been through, you can help others. So that beginning chapter was leading up to how things changed with my mother and my father. Led up to went to the move from my mom, moving from my mom to my grandmother's house, and it was some good things going on in grandma's house. I'm not going to say it was all bad, but when a kid mind is suggested to trauma, pain, hurt, they can't adjust to the fun things that's going around them. I mean, we had big family dinners. We was, back then in 1985, we was almost made the Guinness Books World Record of, and I talk about this in the book too in my beginning. We was almost the second largest family in the world at that time. In 1985, my great-grandfather died at 117 years old. So we had, my great-grandmother died at 100 years old. So it's some good things, some pointers that I did talk about in the book. In the beginning, I talked about some things, but I could not enjoy it because I was used to a two-parent home, my mama and my daddy. I had brother and sister, but I was the baby, and everybody else a little older and doing their thing, and I was a mama's and daddy's baby. And later on in the other chapters, I will tell you how I used to play my mom and my dad against one another just to get my way. When my mom said, "You about to get in trouble. You did this and did that," I call my daddy and tell my daddy I'm my mama. And so my daddy would say something to my mama, and I go with my daddy. So my daddy upset me and do something, I call my mama and tell him my daddy. So I was a kid. I didn't know no better. So y'all don't judge me in that area, please don't. But thinking about my father is some good memories. I got a chapter in the book when I talk about him, but I ain't gonna get there. I'm gonna get away from my daddy right now because he got a chapter, so I'm gonna wait till I get to my dad. But um, yeah. So the beginning is just show the bumps and bruises, the roads that I had to go downhill, being bullied at school. Um, um, it was a sad place, guys. It was a sad place. It was just it was it's a forgiving place today, but it was a sad place then. Um, being talked about, being bullied, um, not only at school, but when you get home, and you got to get to Cinderella mode, just doing things that you didn't see the other kids do. Um, it was. Hmm, my dad was really a protector, and he challenged anybody that did anything to me if he knew about it. So they knew when I wasn't around him, they felt like they can do whatever they want to do to me, and they knew I wasn't going to say anything. So this chapter was very deep. It was real. It was. I'm trying to just like really explain it, like just from the mind of a child. I just can't. It's hard to explain from a child's point of view. I can only tell you about the child, but people want to hear from the child. Um, I just felt scared, alone, um, unprotected. I felt by myself. I felt by myself with siblings, with a grandmother, with aunties, cousins. Because at grandma's house, everybody stayed at grandma's house. Um, but some people was getting favoritism, and some people wasn't. And I was the one that wasn't getting. I was the one that was not, favorable. I was not favorable. I don't know what it was about me, but I had to just do a lot of things the other kids didn't have to do. I used to get woke up at 4 in the morning to wash dishes. 3, 4 in the morning to clean the bathroom. Then had to get up at 5 in the morning, leave out, and get on the bus and catch the bus to the east side of Detroit. We lived on the west side. Had to catch the east side all the way on Crane and Gratiot. Oh God, what was the name of the school? I'm gonna tell y'all the name of the school. The elementary school we had to catch the bus to. Me and my sister early in the morning. Then had to catch the bus all the way back. And I don't know why we stayed over there so long, because we was catching the bus all the way from the west side all the way to the east side and back and forth. And I think we did that. I think until my sister graduated elementary. Yeah, because we was in elementary at the time. And then we moved over to another school. So it was just a lot of things that I couldn't imagine my children doing. I couldn't put my kids on a bus to catch the bus from the east side to the west side just by themselves kids. Back then, I guess it was okay. People used to watch out for kids. And nobody wasn't hurting kids. They probably was. Nobody just knew about it at the time. But we made it to school and we made it back. So it was just a dark place for a child, a lonely place for a child, to have to go through those things and transitioning and moving and changing your lifestyle and not understanding why. You can't ask questions, because back then you couldn't question adults. You couldn't ask adults why, or tell adults what you didn't want to do and what you did want to do. At least I could. At least I could. I don't know who else did it and told people how they felt and where to get off at. I know I could. So that transition, chapter 1 was something else. But y'all tune in tomorrow, please, and I will give y'all a little snippet of what part 2 will be about tomorrow. This is my story. My story, my story. Keeping secrets. Chapter 2 is tomorrow. Is keeping secrets. So, if anybody have the book and you have read the book and you see these lives, please comment, chime in, and let's talk about it. Because this is stuff what people going through every day. What I'm talking about in this book is people going through this every day. These people going through it right. Kids is going through it right now. But if we can be a beacon of light to help others, let's do it. And I think Thursday. No. Saturday. When is the 6th? When is okay, hold on, y'all. We in December. Hold on 1 second. We is in December. Okay, why can I get my calendar down? Let's see. 1 second. Okay, December. December the 6th is Saturday, right? December the 6th will be Damaged Crown, Still Shine, 3-year anniversary. This book is 3 years old. So what we're going to do on the 6th is have an anniversary party. And I'm going to do 2 or 3 book giveaways. And I do 2 book giveaways and something else I will do a giveaway. So if you tune in on Saturday, I will let y'all know tomorrow, and tomorrow's live. What time I will do the giveaway. But we're gonna have a party and a celebration of 3 years of this baby right here. My baby is 3 years old. So I had to give birth to this baby. And this baby, honey, let me tell y'all, to the mothers, the ones that had babies, okay? Y'all know how it is giving birth, right? This book felt just like that, okay? Giving birth, pushing this baby out, and I'll just share some more about that tomorrow and as I go on. But on December the 6th, I'm going to do some book giveaways, and I'm going to have some other items to give away. December the 6th. But tune in tomorrow at, I don't know if 8 o'clock. I think 8 o'clock would be better. I'm going to come back on tomorrow at 8 o'clock and talk about chapter 2, Keeping Secrets. Let's go. Until next time, know that I love you all and there's nothing you all can do about it. And good night.